decline, and we will suffer from hunger and malnutrition. Okay, so due to decrease in food production, we decided that at least with the same area, with the same resources, can we increase our food productivity? Can we have food production? Yes. Through what means? Through green revolution. What is the green revolution? Now we'll discuss slowly. So we use latest fertilizers, latest pesticides, latest hybrid seeds, use of more machines, less manpower, use of automation, okay, with the same area, with the same input, we can produce large quantity of grains in the country. So that is what the green revolution is. Now, what is green revolution? Just we have discussed about this. Now you studied about American Revolution in your social studies. You studied about Industrial Revolution, and this 20th century is more important in green revolution because every human being needs food to survive, and to grow food we need latest techniques, sophisticated techniques, so that we can use those techniques to produce large quantity of output with the same input. Okay, so it is also called green revolution, or it is also called environmental movement. So we have industrial revolution, we have American revolutions, we have green revolutions, that is in terms of growth of food grains, in terms of agriculture. We have white revolution, and that is related to the production of dairy products, milk especially. And you know, Professor Verghese Kurian is the father of that white revolution. Amul India brand name. Now, what is this green revolution here? Next slide. Now, the green revolutions was a time when global agriculture production increased significantly. Due to new technologies leading to higher productivity and use of chemical fertilizers, synthetic herbicides and pesticides. We can increase our output. We can increase our food grain production. That means not only that fertilizers, we use more machines, more tractors, so that with less manpower, with the same input on the same area of land, we can produce more output. That means our productivity will increase. What is productivity? If output divided by input is more than 1, that is called the productivity will increase. Okay. Ratio of output to input is called the productivity. If it is more than 1, we can say our productivity has increased. Next, now who is the father of green revolution in the world? His name is Norman Borlaug. He conducted a research in Mexico in 1940, and he conducted experiment on a field, on a land, on a piece of land where he could be able to grow large quantity of wheat in that country. So he introduced new fertilizers, new pesticides, new technology, new machines, new tractors. With the same input, he could be able to produce large quantity of output, that is wheat. And during that time, in 1965, then the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi took an important step to improve our primary sector, and she has given the charge to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, is called the father of Green Revolution. He took over for that improvement in the primary sector to produce more quantity of food grains in the primary sector. Okay, so don't forget it. The father of Green Revolution in the world, Norman Borlaug. Whereas father of Green Revolution, India, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. Now, what we need in green revolutions? What are the elements of green revolutions? Due to green revolutions, we can expand our land area. Okay, even on barren land, we can introduce this technique and we can get large quantity of output. So next is cropping multiple times. That means instead of growing a single crop entire year, that land we can grow multiple crops, 2 or more crops during the entire year. Okay, by introducing green revolution. And every year there are 2 monsoons, one is normal, other one is artificial. So even if the rains are deficient, we can store the rainwater. Using that rainwater, we can produce large quantity of output. Now, plants with a high yield. The crop has been specially designed to yield a larger yield. These are elements of green revolutions. Yield means larger output. We use hybrid variety of seeds, sophisticated seeds, different types of new seeds, so that using that seeds we can produce larger output and we can expand our agriculture in different areas of land. These are the 4 different elements of green revolution. Now, what are the requirements of green revolution? We require crop varieties of high yield. We require advanced irrigational technology. We require chemical fertilizers. We require rural electrification. We require machines, modern machines like modern tractors, and we need soil testing and soil conservation. These are the basic requirements to introduce green revolutions in our primary sector. Okay, and moreover, we have, if you see, the green revolutions was introduced in 1965 in Punjab and Haryana and parts of UP. In those places, we have all these requirements of green revolutions. Only those states have able to produce large quantity of output due to green revolutions. Punjab is number 1 in wheat production, and Haryana number 1 in rice and paddy and wheat production. And parts of UP, they are growing sugarcane and wheat and rice. Okay. And the irony is that instead of expanding this technique for all the states, this has been concentrated only in some states, especially in North India. And they have good modern machines, modern tractors, and they have, their villages are electrified. So we don't find any village without any electricity. And they have advanced, sophisticated irrigational technology, okay, modern technology, modern irrigation technology compared to South India. Especially if you refer to Telangana, we have power cuts, more power cuts in the villages. Okay, but in Punjab and Haryana and parts of UP, we have less power cuts, or no power cuts, because we need power. That means all the villages should be electrified. Without power, we cannot practice green revolutions in our primary sector. Now, what are the benefits or advantages of green revolutions? Okay, and also at the end, we will discuss about what is the growth impact of green revolutions on the growth of crops in India, on the growth of food grains production in India during right from 1950 to 2012 and 2016. We will see this. What are the benefits of green revolutions? One, it enabled more crops to grow. That means on a piece of land, we can grow multiple crops on the same area with similar effort. This is one of the biggest benefit of green revolutions. Instead of growing one crop, we can grow multiple crops on the same piece of land. Okay, this can happen only when we implement green revolution techniques. Green revolution means sophisticated technology. Okay, using sophisticated technology, we will get large quantity of output, large quantity of food grains. Okay, before green revolutions, whatever effort they are putting, put the same effort here. After green revolutions, result will be outstanding. We'll get more quantity of food grains. Now, because of this, especially we are referring to Punjab and Haryana and parts of UP, there farmers have learned new techniques to build water supply systems to their fields. See, even the techniques we don't find in Telangana or AP, even South India. So they have designed the water supply systems to their fields that they'll get maximum benefit at minimum cost. If you visit Punjab and Haryana and parts of UP, they have more sophisticated techniques of water supply which are supplied to their fields, which are supplied to their crops. Okay, so they have advanced techniques of water supply system. Now, this green revolutions have implemented in some developing countries, including India. What happened? We are able to grow food grains for ourselves, self-sufficient, because we will not depend on other countries. What happens? It resulted in the reduction of poverty. Poverty has been reduced due to more food grain production, and because of this, we became self-sufficient. That means we are not depending on other countries here. This is the benefit. Check it. Now, what happened? Now, India has become a food exporter from a hungry nation. Before independence, it was a hungry nation. Okay, but now we are able to export our food products to other countries so that they can earn foreign exchange, foreign currencies. Okay, exports are more, imports are less. What happens? Our currency value, that means rupee value, will increase internationally. And we need foreign currencies to make any payments, payment for buying petrol or diesel or crude oil from other countries. So dollar is the currency for making any payments or making any receipts. American dollar, you can say, not the other dollars here. The Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, American dollar here. So dollar is the strongest common currency where we will get if we export. Then we have to make payment when you're importing any products here. So we have become a food exporter. From importer, from food importer, they become a food exporter because of green revolution. And that too only in 3 to 4 states in North India. Now, what happened? Next benefit of green revolution, crop yield. That means crop output has increased threefold over the previous year. Okay, it has increased by 3 times due to the green revolutions. The production has increased by 3 times compared to the pre-green revolutions era. Okay, before green revolutions, what is the output? It has become 3 times more after green revolution. The quantity has increased 3 times. Now what happened? Now remember, whenever there is a growth in agricultural sector or primary sector, it has indirect impact of industrial sector. Okay, what happened? It has helped industrial growth and it has created jobs, more jobs in secondary sector, industrial secondary sector, and improved people's quality of life. For example, sugarcane. To produce sugar, we need sugarcane. Sugarcane, we will send to the sugarcane factories here. If the crop is very good, we'll send to the sugarcane factories here. We open more factories of sugarcane. Thereby, the jobs in secondary sector will increase. That will lead to improved people's quality of life. Take any product, it is tomatoes. Okay, if the output is more tomatoes, we will send this. We had to send this to the tomato, using tomato as an input to produce jams, different jams or different variety of output, which is used by the industry. Or pickle, we can say. We have pickle, Priya pickle. We can tomato pickle that can be produced in the industries. Now, this is a direct linkage between the primary and secondary sector, with agriculture and industrial sector. Okay. Now, because of green revolutions, our some slight increase in the secondary sector, industrial sector, and created jobs in the industrial sector and improved the people's quality of life. More jobs means more workers, more payment, more demand. Now, because of this, a government has established hydroelectric power plants. And this has created a great deal of jobs, not of farmers, but also for industrial workers. These plants had to be get serviced by industrial workers because more plants, more hydroelectric power plants, more service people were required. So it has direct linkage with the industrial sector or secondary sector. Okay, if primary sector grows only, then secondary sector will grow. Now there is no linkage between the primary, secondary, and tertiary sector, service sector. There is no linkage. Okay, so direct linkage is only between the primary and secondary sector. If primary sector is very good, so we can say secondary sector or manufacturing sector will grow. So this secondary sector depends on the primary sector. But the service sector or tertiary sector is not dependent on the primary and secondary. It is independent. It is independent parameter. It is independent. Whereas both these two are dependent on each other. Okay. Suppose cotton. Cotton is a crop. Cotton used by those people, textile industries. Okay. So these are different ways where direct linkage in the primary and secondary sector. So what happened after green revolutions? Now you might be seeing in the newspapers some IT sector employees resigned their jobs to they came to the villages and they have selected agriculture as a profession. They grown some crops, then earning crores of rupees here. Okay, so without now here in this case, what happens using fertilizers. Now, without using pesticides and fertilizers, natural way of farming. Now, people are preferred selecting natural way of farming. Now, people's attitudes towards this primary sector shifted positive. They create positive mind on the mind of the people as a result of the expanded scope. Some other benefits of green revolutions, it improves the environment greenery because we are expanding our cultivation area due to green revolutions. Because of greenery, it brings rain at the right time. Because of greenery, it reduces pollution and it will reduce the impact of global warming. And also, it will reduce the impact of soil erosion. Floods can be controlled to some extent. These are the other benefits of green revolution. revolutions. But if you have benefits, you have losses, demerits also, limitations also. What are the limitations of green revolutions? What happened is excess use of fertilizers. Let us see the different limitations. Now, even though the green revolution was impressive, it was not a complete success. Why it is not a complete success? I show you the statistical data. What is the impact of growth in primary sector before green revolutions and after green revolutions? What is the impact of growth rate in agriculture sector? Primary means I am referring to agriculture sector. What happened? The poor farmers were less land holding. They are illiterate. Because of the illiterate, they are poor. They cannot afford to access. They don't have better access to water, fertilizer, and land. Okay, what happened? The introduction of new farming techniques, that is green revolution, has led to pollution of natural resources. Why? Because using excess fertilizers, excess chemicals. Whatever we are eating, food products contains lot of chemicals, lot of acids, which is very harmful to our body. What happened? Excess use of fertilizers, the organic matter of the soil is getting reduced. That means whatever the soil contains natural benefit, it is getting reduced. And in the green revolutions, only a few states outperformed the rest. I told you Punjab, Haryana, and parts of UP performed very well compared to the rest of the states. And two, for the new seeds, hybrid seeds, we need chemicals and fertilizers. Okay. And farmers are, if you are illiterate, what happens? If they are illiterate, they cannot implement. They should have some knowledge of that green revolutions, and they are out of the work. That means they become unemployed because we are poor. They cannot afford to access water, fertilizers, and land, and they become unemployed. So there are the demerits or limitations of green revolution. This is what the green revolutions. Now I'll show you the statistical data conclusions. What is the impact of green revolutions before green revolutions? Growth rate in primary product, that is primary sector, and what is the growth rate after green revolutions? I'll show you that statistical data. Just wait for some time. I'll show you the screen, share the screen. Yeah, this is the graph, a figure where you can conclude, study what is the impact of green revolutions before and after. What is the impact of growth rate? You can say. This is the screen. If you can see, wait for 1 second. If you can see, till downloading. Wait for some time. The screen will be shared for some time. Not able to share the screen. Wait a second. Just 1 second. I will minimize it just again. Okay, so I shared it. This is growth rate of different food products, food items. Thing not able to share, it seems. Once again, to share the screen. Yeah. Can you share this? You share. Yeah, yeah. Share. Sorry, this again paused. This a new share. And not able to share the data, a graph, a picture, a pic of this growth rates. It's taking time in my laptop. Just again try once again. Okay, share. Uh, can you see that share screening? Anyone? Is the screen is shared with you? Nobody is responding.
No,
Escape?
sir.
Huh? No?
No, sir. We can't see.
You can't see. So what we have to do is, now I will upload in the Moodle. I just read it. Now, if you take the wheat, the growth rate before green revolution is 3.3% growth rate in wheat production. Now, green revolution, after green revolution, as on till date, I'm saying till date, it is only 4%. 4%. Okay, before green revolution, growth rate is 3.3. After green revolution, it is 4%. Not much significant increase. Now take the rice before green revolution, it is 2.7% growth rate. Now it is only 3% rice, cultivation of rice. After green, it is only 3%. Pulses before green revolution, it was 2.3%. Now latest data, it is 3% growth rate in pulses. All seeds. Now before green revolutions, it is 0.8%. But now, as on today, it is 6%. A somewhat significant increase in oilseeds. Cotton, before green revolution, it is 2.6%. Now it is 5%. Sugarcane, before green revolutions, it was 3.1%. Now it is 4%. So we can say that means not a significant impact of green revolutions in Indian economy. That is primary sector. There is not much increase in growth rate after only a couple of states in India have performed very well, but whereas other states have not performed very well. There is a wide gap between the different states. Okay. Now take down the roll numbers. Okay, I'll note down the roll numbers.